platform where they're in control. Creators can bring their creativity on chain and make sure that they're the ones benefiting. Everyone everywhere gets the same access, no matter where you're born, no matter where you live. This is the future of the internet. This is on chain.
We are live. Greetings once again. Welcome to another session of Building on Base. And this is our session where we check out the latest that's happening on Base. And we give you the latest information, the latest news, and then we give you some tips on building on Base as well. So I'm your host, Mr. Quest, and I'll be joined shortly, hopefully, by some of my colleagues. But before we get started, let me quickly play a disclaimer and then we get straight into it.
Today's conversation is for information and educational purposes only. It does not constitute financial, technical, or legal advice. The views expressed are our own and do not represent Base, Coinbase, or any affiliated platforms.
Okay, right, we're back. All right, okay, so as you all know, we have successfully gone through the Base migration. So that happened on the 9th of April. And then basically the initial part of the migration was Base moving away from the Farcaster SDK, and that's the mini app standard, right? And coming on to the web app standard. Okay, so now it's pretty much easier for anyone who's built a website to integrate the wallet connection, which is what we'd call sign in with Ethereum or WAGMI. And you will be able to, basically connect to the Base app. And I would obviously suggest that you optimize all your apps for, multiple mobile screen sizes. Okay. So you have to make sure that, for the best, browsing experience, that your apps are optimized for all mobile screen sizes. Okay. So yeah, and then you register on base.dev. So I'm going to take you guys through that process again. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about base.dev. Okay. But before we get to that, there's a couple of things happening on Base. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen quickly. And okay. So first things first is you'll see. So if you go to the Base social handles, the Base app, you'll see the graphics are looking beautiful. There's a lot going on. Check out the app as well. And of course, it seems today there's like some type of a campaign running on Base. And most importantly, it's a rewards program. So yeah, so I think you should check out this rewards program where you can like refer a lot of your friends who are doing, any trading on Base to actually, get onto the Base app and start trading, and you can get some referral fees from that. You get, I think, 25% of their trading fees. You get that back, and then you also get a 10% discount, I think, on your own trading fees once you refer, I think, a certain number of friends. So yeah, so more friends, more rewards, more trading together. So check that out, guys. And the Base app has been updated. Go and check out the socials. Go and check out Base app at Base app. Go and check out at Base. And if you follow like some of the influential people on Base, like Jesse, you'll see that everybody's kind of like posting about this. Okay. So where is the Base handle? Okay, I'm not finding the Base handle. Let me see. Okay, there we are. Okay. So they're generally reposting the same stuff. I saw it somewhere. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Base App Flywheel is spinning. Refer your friends, get 25% off all their swap fees, get a 10% discount on swap fees, and have more funds to trade as a group. Okay, so it's obviously a group activity. So yeah, so get into your circles, get into your groups, get on the Base App, and get on with it. I think when you get onto the Base App landing page, you will see that option there to join this rewards program. Okay, or to refer friends to join this rewards program. Okay. Okay, so I'll stop sharing for now, and then we'll get some updates from my colleague here. Lloyd, how you doing, my guy?
Hey Google, BMBM, everyone.
Yeah,
Hope everybody's having a dope day, and I'm pretty good.
yeah.
Hope everybody's
How
also
you been,
having
man?
a dope weekend. I've been good, man. I've been good. Few projects here and there, but today I was just laying low. I just thought of just taking a little break and a breather. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, that's wonderful. Just good to take a break here because burnout is
Yeah.
real, and you don't want to burn out in the like we just started second quarter, we just finished first quarter. So first quarter burnout could be a long year for you. So yeah, take some time
Yeah.
off, man.
Yeah. No, I did. I was like, no, today I'll probably just play some video games and yeah, so I spent the day just, playing some games, just trying to have a little bit of some chill time before I go back to building. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now on my side as well, I was building something in the last week. It's coming out
Nice.
proper. So yeah, so I'm just sort of like liaising with some couple of people I was building it for, and then we'll see if that's going to get traction.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
but I'm also
Nice.
not. I haven't been going too hard in the last couple of weeks as well, because a lot of it has just been learning on what's happening with the base stuff, right?
Yeah, the
Because there's been so
changes.
many changes from the Farcasa SDK now to the new Web3, and then there's the dashboard. So there's been a lot of like trying to learn on what's going on, and a lot of my learnings actually come from the Discord server where a lot of you know uh, builders are actually asking questions like the problems that they're facing on
Yeah.
base, and learn a lot from that directly from the questions and trying to research those questions and give answers, or from other DevRel ambassadors who are more knowledgeable in some such subjects, responding to these questions and providing solutions. So yeah, so that's where a lot of my learning has been coming from as well, and trying to
Awesome.
simulate some of these problems within my own local environment to see how those are solved. So that's mostly what I've been up to lately. But yeah, I haven't been building much anything new, just the one app I'm working on. But um I have noticed though that on the base app, and I think this is something that we need to share with everybody. So if anyone has seen the base app lately, if you're using mini apps before, you'll see that the browsing experience currently is undergoing some changes. So there's a few bugs here and there that the team is working on. So something like, for example, the URL, bar is coming out at the bottom, and it never used to show there. So yeah, and that's kind of like breaking any apps that have their own, like navigation bar at the bottom. It kind of like now
Yeah.
looks like there's a big navigation bar at the bottom. There is the URL box where there's the website address for your app. Then there's your navigation bar at the top. So it kind of has your app squashed a little bit and it's broken. So those are some of the things that the team is fixing, and they have said they'll be shipping out, updates over the next, couple of weeks. So you will see the user experience improving over time. And of course, right now the priority was just fixing the, the trading experience as well, the UX, the UI. You've seen that on the base app. Removed the social feed. You can't post anymore. But there is like, a coin feed. So you can, like, there's a coin discovery feed. You can see what's going on, some type of a timeline with a couple of coins. So I actually always need to keep checking the updates. So last I checked, that was there, but that could have changed. So yeah, so there's continuous improvement on the base app, and you will see this is happening in real time. So you will see things being improved over time, guys, as the team is testing stuff in the market and getting feedback and coming back and making those changes. Yeah. What have you seen on your side, Lloyd, with the base app? Have you seen anything that caught your eye, perhaps?
So the only thing that I think I saw, I think yesterday and today was the sharing part. I think I saw you mentioning it when I joined, about if you share, then you get to participate by earning. Was it part of the what do you call them? AP? Is it?
Yeah, the rewards.
Yeah, the swap fees.
The trading fees. Yes.
Yeah, I saw those. I was
Yeah,
like,
get
okay, that's pretty
25%.
interesting. Yeah. So if you're trading, like, I feel like 25% is a good amount to kind of use and leverage. So if you're a trader, use the current I'll say promotion that's currently happening. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm looking at the app right now. So what used to be the social feed is now currently kind of like a trading feed. So you'll see like whatever the most recently bought or traded items will sort of come up in that timeline with like a small little chart. And I think you can share that, or you can forward that, and I think you can comment. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So it looks like you can comment on trades. No, you can't comment. Okay, so I try to press the comment button, but nothing's coming up. Oh, yes, you can comment. So you can start a conversation. So yeah. So there's quite a couple of interesting features because, as you guys are aware, or if you're not aware, the base app is really moved from the social graph and from being a social app to a more of a trading app with social trading capabilities, right? So like the campaign that's running right now is sharing your referral link with your friends and bring all your friends to do this as a group activity. And then and then the timeline right now has all the tradable assets that are coming up. So yeah, so that's what's really going on. And then there's some other, like, there's quite a lot of shortcuts they've created now to make it easy to navigate and to send, receive, to buy, etc., etc. So yeah, it's worth checking out, worth playing around, and remember to post about it. Okay. And then of course there's the notifications. Yeah, they've added there's a new notifications API on base.dev. So we'll look at that as well. So that's what's actually going on with the base app. So yeah, you can still find what we used to call mini apps, which are now web apps, I guess. You can still find them on base, but that's still being updated as they prioritize, the other trading components. But yeah, you can still access them. And then the ones that were previously Farcaster apps, right?
Yeah.
When haven't been updated, you will get a white screen. So if there was an app you were using before and you go to it and then the team that's behind that app is not upgraded to the web app standard, you're going to get a blank white screen when you try and access that app in some cases. Or you might access the landing page, but then when you try and do something, you might get a blank white screen. So that's because the base app doesn't support the Farcaster API anymore, the Farcaster SDK. So what was a Farcaster app is not going to work. Only the ones that have been migrated to web apps are going to work. But you can still go to Farcaster and find those same apps. if the builders are still haven't made any changes on that side. So if you can't use certain apps that you were able to use before, go to Farcaster and see if you can use them until such a time that the team that have built these apps have migrated them to the web app standard or to the base app, the new base app standard. Yeah. Have you seen
Yeah.
any of Floyd? Is there anything that perhaps you've noticed or you've used in the past, or any of yours that were still Farcaster SDK and have not been migrated?
Okay, so I think I only migrated one so far. Most of them are still using the old Farcaster SDK, but I do have like a few that I would like to pick from my overall, apps that I've built, and I would like to just use maybe like 5, 6 of them that I would like to just change and put them on the new base app. I would say dashboard. So yeah, I haven't yet managed to do like a bulk of them. Just one that I did, and yeah, I'll probably do that as the week goes. Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah. All right. That's
Yep.
cool, man. Let's have a look at, let me open the base the dashboard, and then we see what some of the updated changes are. Okay, I'll open it in a bit. So I saw they've added the app coins that we spoke about the other day, right? They did mention that those were going to be available to everybody. So I think the first stage is started now, but we're going to talk about it in a bit.
Awesome.
In a second.
Yeah.
Okay, let me share. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen, the welcome to Devra Live on my
Yes.
dashboard? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Am I sharing the right page? Yeah?
Yeah. Welcome
Okay.
Devrew Live. Get started with
Yeah.
builder
Okay.
codes. Yeah.
Yeah. So as usual, guys, how I got here was via signing in with my base account. Okay, so you go to dashboard.base.org. This is where a lot of the action is happening, guys, right? So if you want to check out the leaderboards, then it's explore apps, right? And you will be able to check that. And like we said, it updates every week. This is a counter for more updates, and you can check out the base app, apps inside the base app, and any apps on the base chain. Okay. And there's an FAQ here for more info, and you can check out the weekly transacting users, etc. This is how you can get to the leaderboard. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So our focus today will be just to look at what's been updated and just touch base on a few things that where we've received some information on. So yeah, so a lot of this stuff is being like literally built in real time, guys, or they're shipping in real time, right? So information is coming when the team is pretty sure, of some of the features, right? That they can share more information. So yeah, however, we normally, if you have access to this dashboard, you're gonna see some of these features as they happen. Okay. Okay,
Yeah. No, definitely.
so on this dashboard, right? This is where you can register your apps. Okay. Of course, as we've mentioned in the past, this is where you can come over here and register a new app, right? So with an app name, etc. You fill out the metadata, and once complete, your app will appear in the base app within 1 hour. But that's if you've migrated your app to a web app as well. Okay, and then of course you need to add builder codes. So all the stuff is available over here, right? So this is the metadata page. Let me click over there. Okay, we should be able to scroll this page. Okay, why is it not scrolling? There we go. Okay, all right. So I think the scroll requires a mouse, but yeah, it's easier with a mouse rather. Okay. So yeah, so this is the metadata page, and so they've added a couple of things. So base app notifications, right? So these are live. There's actually an API for base app notifications. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let's have a look at it. I saw something on base, okay. This is x.com. I saw something, saw it posted something about the notification. So let me try and find a post and
Oh
then we
yeah,
have a look.
I actually retweeted that. So if you go to,
Yeah,
so I think if you go to, you can actually just go to her profile. It's there
yeah,
as
I'm on a
well.
profile. Can you see that?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
that's the one.
so yeah, there we go. So she posted about this. You can so now the notifications API. So if you want notifications in your app for users to get notifications via the base app, then you need to go to base.dev, right? And enable notifications as a start. Then you need to actually integrate these notifications. So I haven't used this, but let's check it out. We're gonna look at the documents. We're gonna look at the I think there is a template. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so there's a demo notification app. So you could like literally just copy this setup. Let's have a look. Okay, so it's a Next.js app, Next.js app project. Okay. Okay, so let's check out what the docs say. Okay. So you can send in-app notifications to your app's users through the base dashboard, REST API. Okay. So the notifications lets you, okay, let me see. So they're delivered through the base app only. Okay. So users who interact with your app on other platforms will not receive notifications through the API. Okay. So now that means like, so you could have your web app, you could have other users access your app, let's say via, your desktop. They've connected MetaMask or whatever. They're not going to get those notifications. So you're going to have to spin up another system that allows you to send, the same notification to other users on other platforms or using other wallets on other surfaces. So yeah, any thoughts on this, Lloyd, so far? About how
This
one can create a parallel system where one, you're using this API to send notifications to your users within the base app, but then you also want to send maybe users who are not in the base app, like maybe have connected to your app via MetaMask or on a laptop or a desktop or a tablet. Um,
So I think
mm,
from what I've seen, because these notifications are only specific to the base app, I think if somebody would like to have notifications from like other platforms like the web app and them, I think you would have to maybe just incorporate something like Redis,
mhm.
or any other platform that you can use for notifications. Like maybe if
Yeah.
you're using emails, you can use like Google and them. But so far, I haven't seen anything other than the normal default platforms that we use. And
Mm,
I still think this particular one is quite interesting because it means you can be inside your base app and still receive notifications without really having to, I would say, struggle. Like for example,
yeah.
most people that are let's say building applications on the base app, most of the times if you're using other platforms, you have to pay a fee. maybe per month. So I'm guessing the notifications on the base app are free. If you incorporate these into your app. So for those that don't really want to pay for like other services, I feel like using this would be ideal, because then it keeps your users or anybody who's using like your applications to be, in case you drop something new, and the like. And I also feel like notifications are actually quite a powerful tool for marketing as well, like marketing your app, right? So if somebody is using like your app and they've used it maybe only once, and maybe they forgot about it, or they didn't really find like a super reason to like come back, if you did make like an update and the like, or like the way you're changing our apps from like the normal Farcaster to this new web version, the web app version, I feel like if you added like the notifications, it would be easier to get and make sure that the people that use your app are always, up to par, and they know exactly what's happening inside your app. And if your app is like a trading app, for example, it's even better, because then people have like real-time pings and notifications of like maybe the stock or stuff like that. So it's a really amazing feature. And yeah, it's great that it's something that anybody can use today inside the application, so yeah, I think it's a plus.
Okay, all right, so so each request accept up to 1,000 addresses. For larger audiences, split your addresses list across multiple requests. Okay. So there is some limitations they put so that that you're not spamming, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So there are some security features. So don't be spamming your users also with notifications. I'm sure there's also a notification strategy out there, because I've seen some apps where I was getting like so many notifications in one day, and then my timeline was one app. Like I literally had to opt out of getting notifications from that one app, because this one app was like literally sending notifications for, I don't know, for anything and everything, It's kind of like, like when you're in a WhatsApp group, right? And there are those WhatsApp groups where people are just they're sharing spam, they're sending memes, and it's moving away from the purpose of that group. So I think it works the same with notifications. They kind of feel like that. So you want to get like, things that are important. So I think if you're a builder and you want to send notifications in your app, don't just push anything and everything inside your app, because you're gonna overwhelm your users, right? They're gonna get disgusted at how you're spamming them, like, right? So just look for a notification strategy. There is a strategy. I don't know what it is, but I'll tell you that as a user myself, I don't want somebody spamming with so many messages, every 15 minutes or every hour, and I'm getting from one app 24 messages in one day. It doesn't make sense, right? So it's cool if I get one or two a day, but then they mustn't be just really, hey, good morning, hey, good afternoon. It might be something that captures people and gets people to engage, right? Just like how we post on social media, have a notification strategy that's either designed to offer more services, upsell your users, offer them something interesting, get more engagement, which the whole concept is either to inform or educate users, or to sell them onto something, or to offer them a new feature that increases engagement within your app, and which can translate to some type of revenue for you. So so I think, guys, with everything that we're doing, we need to always think of the end game being, how does this translate to revenue? So don't just spam people because you've got so much to share. Be strategic and also have timing. Like, look at the time zones. Where are the most of your users? If it's a game, what time are they likely to be playing that game? And what's your target audience? If you're targeting students or teens or whatever, if it's during the day in our side of the world between 8 a.m. and maybe 1 or 2 p.m., they're likely at school. So sending notifications and trying to sell them on something during that time might not be the best time, right? So you want to capture their attention maybe during lunchtime, like a lunch break, or after school, maybe they're traveling home, they could be sitting in transport and they've got time to play your game, or in the afternoon, like towards early evening or whatever, or later at night before bedtime. So those are just things to think about with notifications, okay? So yeah, so how do we get there? There's an API key, okay, that you get from the base dashboard, right? So let's go check out where we find the API key. Okay, so there's API keys over here. So you can create an API key, give it a name, and then you copy and you paste that obviously in your VS Code if you're using VS Code. And you literally copy this whole page, right? If you're using a VS Code with the coding assistant, right? So you copy this whole page, paste it in your VS Code, add the API key to your .env, and yeah, let me see, what else do you need to add? Wallet addresses. Okay, so you need a list of wallet addresses, right, to send the notifications to. Okay. All right, so that's another thing that you need, right? So you need a list of wallet addresses you can send the notifications
I'm looking
to.
at the part that says send a notification to one or more of those addresses. The target path sets the route within your app that opens when the user taps the notification. So do you have to manually add the people's wallet addresses here that are going to be getting the notifications, or is this something that is automatically done maybe like inside your app in form of like a button that people can press to say give me notifications, or it's something you can add by default in your app?
So I think, yeah, at the beginning, it allows you to fetch. So I think first and foremost, this is an opt-in service. So I think it doesn't automatically send to everybody, but it sends to those who have opted in to your notifications, right?
Okay.
So I'm not sure if the opt-in, I don't remember. Do I remember opting in? Okay, using the Farcaster type of mini apps in the past, I remember having opted in, but now with the base web app standard, and considering that this is new, I haven't yet used an app that's already got this configured with notifications. So I haven't seen an option to opt in, but there probably is, because this is an opt-in service, right? So it does tell you that your users would have to opt in first, and then there is this little piece of code to fetch users that have opted into your notifications. So I suppose it either, okay, so it fetches, right, Lloyd, and then it sends to these users. So it doesn't look like you do this manually, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
because it fetches.
Fetch the wallet addresses and
this is the response,
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and then you send a notification.
I see that.
And then that's the response.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So the cool thing is that it doesn't look like you need to do this manually. But then I suppose you could, but then that you'd be breaking privacy laws if you could manually upload. Okay. So now let's assume, so this says that it will only work for users in the base app, right? Let's assume you've got users that have signed up via laptop and they're using MetaMask, right? Okay, MetaMask would have its own notification system. That might not be compatible with this because you're using an API. However, that API, I suppose you then need to add, that information. Where would I send? Would I need to create a dashboard to send notifications? Because in the past, I have created, like, let's say I have an app, like, let me give you an example of, okay, let me give you an example of this app. What I did with this app, I think I created an admin dashboard, right? So I created an admin dashboard which allowed me to run something like, like this for like a rewards, right? So it allows me to add rewards for users in the app. Like if users that have been using it, and because I only created the reward system after the fact. So what I did is I created a /admin page where I'm able to do some admin stuff. So I suppose with notifications, one could create an admin page like this. Um, in the past, I used to create like a separate app altogether, right, for the admin. I used to go and create like a whole standalone app, deploy it to be something like admin dot whatever, right? And it would be a whole admin dashboard, etc., etc. So, but I don't think you need to do that nowadays. I think just creating an admin, just a page like this, and then you have your notification system, and then you have somewhere where you can send notifications throughout the day to make it easy for yourself, right? You're the only one with the admin login, and you can type in notifications and send them. Or you could automate those, right? So automating this is probably the best, but then there are those moments where there's something happening in the real world. There's real-time information, real-time opportunity. You have the app on your phone, then going to the admin page probably might be best if you have some type of an offer, and then you send from that. But then I guess you need to create a system where you sort of like automate all of this, and it doesn't require like you deploying the app again, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
That would be better. So I'm also just
yeah.
doing some research as well on
Mhm.
just like the code as well to just see um how it's
How it
done. So
works.
so you are
Mhm.
right. Like users, you don't have to select the users manually. It fetches them on its own. So like you said, you
Mhm.
only users who've opted in uh are the ones who you'll be able to send
Mm.
notifications to.
Yeah.
So it's only close to the base app. So if you want a normal website or a mobile app outside base, this API
Mhm.
alone is not enough. So if you'd like
Yeah.
to make it work, you'd probably need to have a hybrid system where you use
Yeah.
base notification for Web3 users inside the base app, and then normal
Yeah.
web push notifications for browser users. So for that, you can use stuff like OneSignal, Firebase cloud messaging, which will give
Mm.
you the type of hybrid system that you want. So yeah, this is
Yeah.
pretty dope.
Yeah. Yeah. When we used to build on Vessel, Redis was kind of like the default standard. You remember when we
Yeah,
were
yeah, I remember.
building these mini apps on Vercel,
Yeah, I remember.
using the Vercel business
Redis
tool.
was
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
one
yeah,
we used to use. Yeah,
yeah. But I found Redis to be pretty expensive. Um, at some point, I went to look at the pricing,
yeah.
and
It is
found it
quite.
to be quite pricey.
Yeah, it
Mm.
is quite pricey. But if you have like a product that's
Hmm.
actually got like users and it's actually bringing in income, then it's
And
um
it's
it's
justified.
cool. It can, yeah, it's justified. But like if you're just starting out and testing, I think the best would be playing around with there. I think they've got like a free. I think they have a free tier, if I'm not
Mm.
mistaken. Which gives you like maybe I think a few use cases, and yeah, I think after that you have to pay. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be also interesting to check out like how his app, the demo, how it's working and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, so there's a link over here, guys. Let me see what is the link for this. So it's on base demos. Okay, that's too long. So the best place to find that demo and the links is to go to Sohei's Twitter account. So it's at Sohei_ETH. Okay, and then if you scroll down, you'll see she did a post. When was this? April 13. So this was yesterday, right? And yeah, she did a
Mhm.
post. So there's a link to the docs there, and then there's a link to the GitHub. Okay. So yeah, so that's actually a good start. And like most things, guys, in most cases, you would need to play around with it to be able to figure out, some of the little, or the challenges or the hacks, etc., etc. And when you do, it's always great to try and come to the developer forums and share your knowledge. This could be especially on the Discord, because there's a couple of builders there who are wondering about some of these features. So that's a great place to come and share information around notifications. Okay. So, all
Yeah.
right. So, yeah. So for notifications, I think we kind of like covered the basics in terms of how, you set it up. But I think a lot of it requires myself as well. I'm also new to this. I just saw this yesterday, but I haven't tried it. So yeah. So please check it out. But like most things that are on base, they're not very complicated. And you can ask the AI. So the minute you see there's information around the docs, you can actually ask the AI if you're having challenges. You ask this AI over here, it will give you all the information, any problems. If you get an error, you can go and check out the error in developer tools, come back here, paste the error here, and then it's going to help you figure out what the problem is if you're having challenges. Otherwise, come to the Discord, and then the DevRel ambassadors will help you out with solutions. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's notification. So that's another, cool feature, right? Let me see what else there is. There is app coins. I've been seeing app coins, guys, but I don't see it on my side. Let me see. There's something called app coins. I wonder where it will come up. So there should be something that says app coins. I think currently it probably comes up with people that have already got apps on the leaderboard. I think then that's where you would see app coins. But I think the services, from what Sohe said, it's going to be rolled out to everybody. So an app coin is basically is if you create an app and you create a coin and you want like your coin and your app to be paired together. So let's say you want to reward users or you want them use your coin inside your app, whether it's a rewards token or whether it's some type of app that's used or coin that's used inside your app for purchases or for staking or for doing all type of things or for rewards. Then Basis is enabled a situation where you can pair it. So when I think when you have an app on the leaderboard, that option becomes available here. Okay, so when you go to your app over there, you select whichever app, it becomes available. But then there's some things that you need to do, I guess, in the code where you can I'm not sure where you add it in your app's code for it to feature or for you to get that access. But from what I've been told, this information is still coming out to everyone. So they're going to roll it out to everyone. So currently the app coin, they are doing it manually because there's a process to apply for your coins to be featured on the base like app, for example. I think it needs to have a certain level of liquidity. I'm not quite sure what else, but liquidity is normally a big indicator. And that process is currently being done manually. The approval process, and they also need to check that, it's not a scam coin or whatever, that all the security protocols have been followed, etc., etc. It's up to standard, basically. So they've got a responsibility to protect users. So I think once that process is done, there's a manual process of approval currently. So I've seen some people who have the access to app coins have requested, I think somebody said they've waited for about a week for approval. And that's because the team is so busy with a lot of things and this is a manual process. So there's so many requests, so it's going to get covered. It's part of the pipeline, but it's just going to take a bit of time because they are building, changing so many things at the same time. And, and there's not enough manpower to do all those things at once. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's where we are, guys, with base.dev. So the notifications being a new feature, that's the docs have been the docs are available around that. They've been released. AppCoins is not yet available, so I think we'll wait for a bit of time
When it's ready, yeah.
until it's ready. Yeah. But otherwise, play around with base.dev and register your apps if you haven't registered them. Follow the guidelines that are required for the metadata. Okay. And just to give you a tip, all the images should be no more than 5 megabytes, and then follow the character limits. And the URL you add at the bottom of this should be the landing page that you want your users to land on when they open your app inside the base app, for example, right? Yeah. And then if you're not doing a mini app, then you can register still on the base.dev, like the other guys that are apps that are on the leaderboard that are just on chain. Okay.
Yeah.
So you also need to add builder codes, by the way, to track your transactions. And I think it currently tracks transactions inside the base app, right? So if your users are accessing your app via the base app, those are the transactions that will be tracked by the builder codes, and that's what gets you on the leaderboard. If they're accessing your app via maybe a MetaMask, or perhaps another wallet, maybe something like, say, for example, a Trust wallet, for example, there's a chance that those transactions might not be recorded using these builder codes, and they might not be counted for the leaderboard. So yeah, we do get a couple of people that every week are saying, hey, my app had 400 transactions, but then I'm not on the leaderboard. It's only showing me that I had 30 transactions. That's because it's probably pulled transactions that were made via the base app, or people accessing your app via base app. So yeah, so all these things, guys, is usually because of the compatibility issues. Some wallets, like Trust Wallet, might not be using builder codes. If they're using something else, then it's not compatible. Just like the notifications, we're using something on base, then MetaMask, your users might not get those notifications. That's just a common feature within the blockchain space, because networks currently work to a certain extent, almost like some of these systems are siloed, right? But there's always people working on new standards, new technologies to allow the interoperability of the stuff. So maybe this time next year, you'll only need to push your notifications, and they'll be available everywhere, even using the base API. Someone else might create a standard that allows that interoperability, or they might create some tool that allows it to be accessible across so many other platforms. So same with the builder codes. Other wallets might adopt the builder code standard, because that's ERC 8021, and once they've implemented that, then the base dashboard should then be able to track some of those transactions that are happening on the base chain, but using other wallets, right? So yeah, so I think this is some of the stuff that's still work in progress. A lot of these new technologies that Base is using are still pretty new, right? So the adoption is still to sort of get to that level where everything is running smoothly. But if you're early, you are likely to benefit out of this momentum, and you are likely to go viral because there's less competition now. Yeah. So Lloyd, what else can we cover here? I think for now, that's kind of like the new feature that I saw, the notifications. Builder codes, unfortunately, I don't have access to that because I don't have, not builder codes, app coins. I don't have an app. Yeah, I don't have an app that's linked to any token, or that's on the leaderboard. So I won't have access to that until I get to that. But we'll see if we can get somebody like Showa at some point to join one of the live streams and teach people or create some videos, which he normally does. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Which
that'll be
she
cool.
normally does, actually. There might be a video where she's talking about app coins. I haven't yet seen anything, but yeah, so maybe, sometimes when a feature is not yet ready, they won't do any content around it, right? Okay. So I think they'll only post about it once it's ready and once they've done the documentation for that, like what they've done with notifications. I think a week ago we didn't have notifications, right? So
Yeah,
once it was ready, they make the docs available. They, allow you guys to, to use
play
it
around with
and
it.
to give feedback.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, so
basically
what
testing it
else
as well.
are we missing for today? I think today is just the notifications and the notifications API, right?
Yeah, today it's just the notifications API and the few other updates that we showed
Yeah.
people, such as earning from the apps that you share and on the base app and the few other updates. But yeah, for today it's mostly just the notifications as we wait
Mm,
for more changes to come. So the
mm,
more changes that come through or that are made, whether it's today, tomorrow, we'll make sure that you guys are fully updated and completely synced with them so that you are not left behind.
yeah. Yeah. I was actually thinking earlier when we were talking about notifications, like I was saying, let's assuming that somebody is using maybe MetaMask to access your app, right? And they're not in the base app, so they're not going to get those notifications, right? So you obviously need to set up something within integrate MetaMask's whatever notification system that there is compatible with them. So if it's Redis, then that's the case. But we spoke about, excuse me, update like uploading wallet addresses, right? So let's say, Lloyd, let's say you you are not in a position to fetch, let's say no, let's say some people have not opted in and you want to send a system-wide notification, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because currently this work on an opt-in, right?
Yeah.
But let's say there's been a security issue and you want to send to every user,
Yeah.
inconsiderate of whether they've opted in or not. You want to send a system notification because you want, users to secure there was maybe a breach or there's some type of a problem.
Yeah, and you just
So
want
I
people
was
to be safe.
wondering then, yeah, so that's a manual process, right? Because then you
Yeah,
need
that's
to,
a manual process.
you- yeah, then you need to like literally, perhaps not manual, but it could be just a button that you click on your admin, right? To say send a notification to all, like a system notification. Then maybe you add like some password layer to confirm that. Okay, so that could be possible, right? So, but then you'll still need all those other, notification tools integrated to all your other users. But yeah, technically you could upload a list of wallet addresses that are using your app. If for some reason, you're not able to fetch them on a database, like let's assume you had some type of a security breach. So yeah, so
Yeah.
then I guess there is a point where you could do that manually, but yeah, you probably won't have to. If you are fetching or saving all your users' wallet addresses, um, yeah, then you could just
Yeah.
sort of like automate that. The only thing you need to add manually is just the notification message. Okay. All right. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thought that I was having, Lloyd, because when we're talking about whether you need to upload this manually or you can fetch it. So yeah, you could use something like this to fetch, but then if you are if your system is if you've built your app in such a way that maybe you have some backend that's saving your users' wallet addresses, then yeah, you could use another system or your own custom built one to sort of like send system-wide notifications. Okay.
Yeah, I
So
think
yeah.
so too.
So that's actually something to think about, right, as well. That's probably something we never really think about when we're building apps, is then how do you communicate with all your users if there's been a breach, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like we're so used to just collecting users' wallet addresses to sign into our apps, but we normally don't collect any other information to communicate, right? Um, so if you haven't been collecting, then maybe it might be it's a time to rethink some of those communication strategies for your users, especially when it comes to systems messages, security breaches, which are so common nowadays, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what do you think, Lloyd, or what do you recommend in that regard?
I think because for this particular notification system, people have to kind of like opt in. So maybe like the way you've mentioned, if there was a way in which, let's say, anyone who uses the app and has like signed
Mm,
in before can be
yeah.
added to like let's say like a default full um, I would say address list, which is completely different
Mm,
from just the notification list. So that in case of like an emergency, then you would be
mm,
allowed to press like a button, like you mentioned, and it would be
mm,
able to send it to anybody who's ever interacted with your app. I think that would actually be a very great feature.
mm,
Obviously, it would still have to be a bit controlled so that people don't just send, random spam messages to just like anyone who's ever connected their app to their wallets to their app. But I feel like done properly and structured, it would definitely be a great feature because
yeah.
it would automatically get everybody's attention faster instead
Mm,
of just the people who opted in. So yeah, it would be a
yeah.
nice feature to see. And like we've noticed, I think every week or 2 weeks we have like a new feature that just
Yeah.
pops up. So I'm sure we're
Mhm.
still getting a lot more features coming up because of like all the
Oh,
changes that
yeah.
are happening. But I feel like
Yeah.
so far we've seen the changes, and
Mm.
yeah, I'm sure we still have a few more coming, and it would be nice to see something like this also considered. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's pretty dope, man. Actually, I was just while you're speaking, I was just thinking that okay, so perhaps also when users are signing to the app, you can just have like some type of a disclaimer to say, look, by accessing this app, you accept that you will get system notifications that deal with security issues, blah blah blah
Oh
blah.
yeah.
You could
Yeah,
have
that
some
would be
little
that would be
pop-up.
better.
Yeah, yeah, just to inform users, and then you can also have an opt-out from certain, notifications, but you make it, clear that system-wide notifications will be pushed to, all users as just a standard security protocol. So I think a lot of it is just about informing users because there's like in South Africa, there's something called the POPI Act, right? Um, which deals with like privacy of information or privacy of personal information, and it controls how you communicate with your users, right? And how you handle, their,
The data.
personal information. So, you can catch a case if you don't align with that. So, if a user does not consent for you to contact them, and then you send some communication, you might get fined. You see what I'm saying? So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so there's all these rules. I know Europe is very strict with those. They've got their own set of rules. The United States has got their own, but it's kind of like the same variation of the same law, just called different things in different countries. But yeah, these are generally like, privacy of personal information regulations. So yeah, so when anyone is implementing things like notifications or any communications with their users, there are rules and regulations and laws about how you should handle that and how you should store that information as well. So it's not just the communication. If it's two-way, then how do you store that? Or even user identity. How are you storing that user identity when you're communicating to your users, who has access to that, etc. So yeah, so
Yeah.
it's very important when you are running this as a business, and you are implementing this in your app, to be very cognizant as a startup or an entrepreneur on what these regulations are and which region will you be allowed to communicate to your users. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we've come to the end of this app notifications and this live stream. Do you have any, final thoughts for today, Lloyd? Any last words?
Um,
Anything
I
else to
think
share?
just if you haven't converted your applications yet, like the way I still have some of my my applications,
Yeah.
I think this is the
Mm,
best time to switch to like the new
mm,
format that's
exactly.
currently being used, because it will enable your app to be up to, I would say, up to date, and
Mm,
also be able to use some of the new features like the notifications that have been added without having like a
mm,
lot of errors in your old apps. So again, if you have an application, you've got users there, and you haven't yet
mm,
converted it, this is like the right time to do it. So find time
yeah.
this week. If you are free on Thursday, come through with your apps. If you want us to help you convert them, and we can help you convert them live. So feel free to join
Mm,
us, and yeah, I think that's
yeah.
that's what I can say.
Yeah, nice. On my end, I just had a thought, when I was looking through the base app, considering that the base app, the social feed has been taken away, a lot of the features that were there that are regarding social content creation, etc., have been removed. I think that creates a strong case for people to build their own apps that will still be in the base app that can offer those services. So you
Yeah.
could have your own base social feed app, and it's
Oh
somewhere
yeah.
where people can, when they go into the base app, they go into base social, and your app just aggregates, specific content from different surfaces, and you are delivering it within a timeline. But obviously, the secret is, how do you monetize, right? That's always the case, because social
Yeah.
media kind of like currently, works on like if you look at X, it works on a subscription model, it works on advertising. But
Yeah.
then
They
that
work on
kind of
advertising.
stuff on chain is not really, it's advertising is not really like, yeah, a big thing. So if you can
Yeah.
figure out how to sort of make revenue, then you can actually deliver those previous features that were inside the base app. You can deliver them as standalone apps, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trick is always, how do you monetize? Building it is easy, but
Yeah. Monetization.
sustainability is very difficult. Yeah. So that's a thought I had. So I think that's my thought for the day is I see an opportunity to be able to build features that were in the base app, or that are lacking with the current app as we see it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and perhaps some people or some users might be interested in that stuff. So yeah, that's just an idea that's coming, also coming from notifications, like Lloyd, you were saying. Notifications is kind of like where people live in notifications. When you see that little red dot, you are tempted to
Yeah.
remove it. So you always go to notifications whether you like it or not, because I don't know, there's something about that little red dot that makes us OCD, at least in my case, and I just want it gone. So I'll always read notifications because I want to remove that red little notifications dot. So it's a great
Oh yeah.
surface area to grab a
Same.
lot of users and interact with users. So that's the trick about notifications, guys, is you actually find a lot of users. So yeah, implement notifications, but also look for a notification strategy, as we were saying. And if you have other apps that you can build that can behave like notifications, within the base app for everybody else, who knows? That could be a new innovation in itself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
could. It
So
actually could be a new innovation.
it's
On
almost like a
some.
social feed, right?
Yeah, it is like a social field, and I personally think it's a good idea as well because it's something that people have already used before in the base app, and
Yeah,
we've already seen like how it works. We've already seen like how people kind of interact with it. Just
yeah,
finding out a way to, like you said, monetize it so that
mm,
your users can benefit from it, as well as you
mm,
also being able to benefit from it in a more mutual win-win situation. I think would be
yeah,
the only part to kind of like think about. And once you have that in like idea form and you'd like to test it out, I think building it and then setting it loose onto the world would be a good idea. And yeah, I think you would get a lot of people to just kind of test it out, especially the old users that were already using like the previous social feed. So yeah,
yeah.
great idea.
Right. All right. Thank you very much, Lloyd, and thank you to all our viewers or listeners who came through to listen to us, and who are consistently coming to listen or to watch our live streams. We
Yeah,
appreciate you guys. We will catch you on Thursday at 1 p.m. for the Builder office hours. So yeah, make an appointment with us on that day. And if you have any, issues, as we always say, you're having problems, or you want to share stuff, reach out. We can even give you this platform to speak, share your screen, or share what you are building. Okay. Otherwise, you
yeah,
can reach out to our socials, Telegram. You can reach out to the Discord as well, for any technical issues that you are facing and need assistance with. Okay. And Builders Office Hours, of course, is also a place to showcase what you've built or come and debug any problems that you are facing. And that's on
yeah,
Thursdays at 1 p.m. CAT. So we'll catch you on Thursday then. So, Mr. Lloyd,
yeah.
thank you very much. Have a good evening. And
Same.
everybody else, have a good evening. And thank you for coming through.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
BM.